everyone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 1 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
I'm here. Let's do it. It has begun.
It has begun.
It has begun. I love my guy Shang Tsung.
Flawless victory. So we are here for our very first film to review of 1982.
Gotta find out what the top action movie is.
Yes, the big battle debate will come at the end of the season, right, of the highest scoring ones. But first, we got to take this one movie at a time and kind of score it, right, before we can get to the big battle at the season finale. So we need to start off, we decided, with 48 Hours.
Classic.
I feel like we should automatically get Bill Simmons to try to view and listen to our podcast alone for that man's love of Eddie Murphy and 48 Hours, right?
Oh, sure. Another podcast. I'm sure that would rock his world.
Right. Like,
get those Spotify dollars.
Right, the Spotify dollars. Do you think he's actually done, because he's done so many of those, did they do 48 Hours yet?
I guarantee you they did. It was probably one of the first 5
I would assume they would have had to.
In between the 10th time they reviewed Heat.
Right, exactly.
The rewatchables.
I have to say, as much as I love Heat, I don't remember the last time I rewatched that movie, and I feel like I need to, but fair enough. But anywho, so, all right, so we decided that we're, again, breaking it down by categories. We're doing hero, villain, action, stunts, sidekick, and those are the categories, right? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So we're starting off with hero, right?
That's how I think we should start. That's how, action movies always got to have a hero. He's the most important part. He or she.
Sure. All right, Patrick, what's your feelings on the hero of 48 Hours?
So we got Nick Nolte as Jack Cates.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord. He introduced to us waking up with his girlfriend, being mean as hell to her. Pours whiskey into his coffee first thing, which he doesn't even have a chance to drink because he's too busy picking a fight with her. I don't even think... Does he actually have a drink in the movie? I can't remember actually seeing him... even when he's at the bar with Eddie later.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I don't know if we actually see him drink it per se.
He's introduced to us as he must be an alcoholic. He's pouring whiskey into his coffee first thing in the morning. But he doesn't drink that coffee, and I don't think I ever see him take a drink throughout the rest. He must take a swig in the flask at some point. But I can't remember it.
I'm assuming. But he's probably too busy picking a freaking fight as soon as he wakes up to even bother having a sip.
Mm-hmm.
And he's clearly just starting a fight.
Yeah, for the sake of it. I don't get it. Were I to wake up next to a Ned O'Toole, I would be in the best mood. Great mood.
Well, yeah. You and your love of redheads and her being a beautiful woman to begin with, and I'd imagine you would, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful ginger. Anyway, then he leaves after he's done fighting, goes outside, throws away parking tickets that are on his car. How long has he actually been there? Because it looked like it was multiple tickets. And that car does not look street legal.
Or they're really good and dutiful at their job. They're just like hawks on that street repeatedly or something. It is odd.
That thing, I don't know why they didn't think it was abandoned. It is in such bad shape. It is awful looking car.
I'm hoping here too that you will help me out, because I'm watching this movie, right, and he from there goes to a hotel with two other cops, and for the life of me, I don't know why he's there.
He heard a call over the radio.
Is that what it was?
He was in the neighborhood. He heard a call. He's like, "Well, I got a chance to shoot some people. I'm going to show up."
Was it
because that seems to be all he's really good for?
Right.
I don't think so. I think he just heard that there were guys that were going to go check this, and he happened to be in the area because the two detectives. By the way, Jonathan Banks with hair.
Yes. I was shocked to see this. I was like, oh my gosh, Mike,
Yeah.
And I
Aaron Trout, Breaking Bad.
I should have been so distracted by that, but I still kept going, why are you here? Like, I don't understand this.
So what the impression this movie gives you the entire time is nobody likes this man. He doesn't like anybody, but he seems to be good at shooting people. He seems to enjoy that. And it makes an interesting contrast to the villain, because that's apparently all the villain cares about, too.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
shooting
point.
Cops.
Well, we'll talk about villain later. Yeah, let's go hero first.
So, yeah, but let's talk about Nick Nolte screaming in this movie. My guy sounds exactly like Chris Farley. I can't get over it.
He's got the build, right? One of the first things is, like, the first note I made is Nick Nolte's got some shoulders to him.
Oh, yeah.
With the blonde hair, big shoulders. Like, he's got the look for... And then, like, my third note is, what a dick.
Well, the movie he was in before this was in North Dallas 40, football movie he was playing. This was his big
wow, really?
hit.
Okay.
Yeah, this was where it really turned him into a star. He hadn't really... This really broke through, but he'd only done a couple movies before this. It was just really TV, mostly.
Yeah.
But this is what broke him through, him and Eddie.
Eddie I knew. I didn't know that about Nick Nolte.
Yeah, just a few movies before this. He's literally mean to everybody, though, in this movie. I think except for, like, one secretary for 2 seconds. It's like the only person he doesn't yell at throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
And it's all, like, I swear, it's kind of funny, too. The police precinct of this movie becomes the standard, I feel like, for a long time afterwards, of action movie precincts. I don't know if there's anything before this movie, but I feel like this movie has the stereotype of it, to the point that the commissioner or the head or whoever literally is the same person from Last Action Hero. And he's playing the exact same character, and I was giggling the whole way through.
It's Frank McRae. He starts the character here, and he parodies the character twice in the same year. Loaded Weapon 1 and Last Action Hero come out in the same year, where he's spoofing the same thing.
That's the same year?
Yeah, and he's spoofing the same character. Yeah.
Oh my god, I had no idea that was the same year. And it's like I'm watching, I'm like, where's the steam coming out of the ears? Like I'm almost like programmed that this needs to be part of the stick.
Oh, you're moving into my miscellaneous notes here, but all right.
It's part of the hero stuff. Sorry,
it's definitely like we're showing a precinct is definitely messy as hell, right? I think police officers.
It's chaotic. Yeah,
though as Dirty Harry is about as messy as anyone was allowed to get in police story movies before this. He's buttoned up, they're professional looking. Jack Cates is a mess. He's an absolute
mess. And you got people coming and going throughout the precincts. This guy's popping in to say something quick, then leaving, and then the next person's popping in quick to say, like, it's very all over the place.
Chaotic, yeah.
And I feel like that becomes the gist of how I kind of identify police precincts for almost my entire life is kind of this MO that they kind of develop here, unless again it's developed earlier. I don't know.
So I want to talk about how he should have been in jail at the end of this movie. Jack Cates. He forges his boss's signature to get Reggie out of jail. He breaks into Luther's apartment. Luther was just defending himself, taking a shot at him. I mean, the cop just randomly broke into his house. He didn't even identify himself. He just broke in.
And then he talks to the two women. Like the everything with the two women in their apartment is like, this is such abuse of police power. It's kind of insane.
And then he beats up his suspects and everything. It's like, wow.
Yeah. But they were our heroes, man. And so I'm like, I can't believe like everything seemed like, these are all bad people, so this is rightful and just. And now watching it as an adult, and you're like, this is kind of messed up. And I guess it doesn't help too that he's an ass to begin with.
No, he's a complete jerk. But you could, even in today's police world, he'd probably get away with it. In the
Right.
end, all this stuff. But we're not done yet. Then when he starts talking to Eddie Murphy, he's got to be racist as hell on top of it all.
Oh, yeah. He starts talking about, like, jive. I don't like your jive.
He called him a watermelon. I was like, what
I caught that. Oh, my God. Yeah, there's racist lines galore. And it's like, it's almost seems like they're purposeful to put them in like a country bar later to make him
Torchies.
be like not as racist.
Yeah.
Like, he's
the
pretty
real
racist,
racists.
but these are the real bad people. And it's like, I think they had to do that to dial it down a little bit.
And then when we're out of the bar, he calls him the N-word. He just drops it after it. I was like, there we go.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard not to talk about our sidekick here. But yes, let's move on.
And then he has the audacity to put Annette O'Toole on hold. Can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
Rude. There he goes.
It's more like, why are you still around? What is wrong with you, woman? You could do so much better.
And I don't think she's in the sequel, so she did.
Yeah, you know what? To be honest, I've seen this movie so many times when we were younger. Like, watching this movie, I'm like, yep, I remember all of this. I have a pretty good recollection for most of this, although I'm picking up on details now. And I'm like, trying to, like, the movie ended, I'm like, I couldn't tell you what happened in the sequel. I don't know. I know we had the VHS. We owned it.
Did we have the sequel? Maybe the original.
I'm pretty sure we did, didn't we?
I don't think so.
I remember seeing the cover a lot, at least. Maybe that's it. But I couldn't tell you what happened in the movie.
Probably walked by it in budget video or something. But it involves the Iceman. Actually, well, remember the guy Keo in there? Did anybody spoil it for you? Or if you ever want to watch it again? It's also on Paramount Plus.
No, I mean, I feel like we might get back to it eventually, right? I don't know.
So you don't want to spoil it? Okay.
I don't. Yeah, no, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Okay, all right.
But I guess we should have already put a spoiler warning. But if you needed a spoiler warning for this age of a
all these movies are from 1982. There's no spoiler alerts necessary.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I have a. You want to know one of my notes here?
Go ahead. Yes.
It is called him a watermelon! !
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. I'm glad you wrote it down too.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
But this is what I was going to say. Eventually, of course, him and his sidekick Eddie become best friends, and he says, "Sorry for saying all the racist stuff. I was just doing my job, keeping you down." It's honest, real cop talk right there. Sure. He literally says, "I was just trying to keep you down because that's what cops do," or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, that's honest."
I love when he calls him a bastard, and he goes, "That I am."
Now he's
so he owns it.
No, he is as bad as the character is. Nolte is really funny in this movie.
He is,
and he is a presence, and you can't take your eyes off him when he's on the screen. And
my one issue with that is, I didn't feel that way until Eddie Murphy comes on screen. So
yeah,
I feel like that'll come up more when we talk about our sidekick here. But,
yes. Reggie, Eddie Murphy is the best part of this movie, no doubt.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
But, you want to get ready for the score for the hero? Because, Jack Cates is all the issues with him. He is unique. And I will remember him. And so I'm willing to give him a 3 out of 5 for hero.
Wow.
Because he's interesting.
So
he's never boring.
Okay. I think this is interesting. So I was ready to give him a 2.
Yeah.
That's where I was at. But then I'll admit, I was looking at my final score for the movie, and I was like, it's too low.
Yeah.
And so I went back, and I was like, you know what? And this kind of goes to what we were talking about earlier. Eddie Murphy's the best part of this movie, and he's phenomenal. But it really could have gone bad if he didn't have someone as charismatic and fun and great delivery to banter back with.
Yeah.
And as much as he's not that interesting and not that good of a character without Eddie Murphy, but when he is with Eddie Murphy, he still brings it right along with Eddie Murphy the entire time, that I have to be like, all right, I feel like I got to bump him up for that.
He's never boring.
He was able to meet it. Right.
And that character could have been just a boring old racist, or you still kind of like him. That's the magic of Nolte in the part. Despite all the awful things he does.
Yeah. Sure, but it's only because of Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
and
yes.
The playful banter that he's able to have with Eddie Murphy. And it really could go badly. It could be all one-sided. And he's actually not one-sided. He's actually able to bring it on his end. And I think that ability to do that with such a talent of Eddie Murphy himself, that I feel like I had to bump it up to at least a 3.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you look at any scene without Eddie Murphy, it's a 2. but he really does elevate it when he's there with Murphy, that I have to be like, all right, I'm going to give this a 3.
Okay.
So
good.
I agree with you. It's a 3 out of 5.
All right.
Yeah.
You ready to move on to the next category?
Yeah, so that's villain.
Yeah.
Dexter's dad.
James Remar.
Yeah. He got his teeth fixed.
Gans. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing I oddly noticed. I was like, oh, his teeth look a lot better later in his life, but okay. Can we also talk about his sweater wife beater outfit?
Yes.
He's got on.
I have it written down in my notes. It's literally the second thing I have it written down. Gans's knitted tank top is both hilarious and looks dirty as hell. Which is what that...
so gross.
It looks like he's been wearing it for like 6 years and not worn anything else. It looks so sweaty and... Ugh.
It just, yeah.
Like,
it
it looks like it started off as white and now it's this like tan color. You're like, oh.
And he wears it every moment in the whole movie besides him being out of prison. Like anything out of prison, he's wearing it.
And you got that and the grease in his hair that's slicking everything back. It's just like, it's a whole vibe.
Yeah. And he's always got this like dirty look on his face, like, yeah, I don't even want sex. I just want to sit here and kill people. And you're like, okay. Like,
well, see, that's the thing. That's one of my problems with the character is that
yeah.
I don't really get crazy from him. Mm-hmm. Everyone talks about how crazy he is.
Right.
And he's just like, I don't know. He seems, I don't know. He doesn't go nuts or like, he doesn't seem like, I don't get it from him. It's all in dialogue, people talking about him.
Right. Let's get nuts. Like, you don't see. Yeah, exactly.
He's brazen and he's a risk taker, but not like, Joker level nuts, crazy, or anything like that. Yeah.
He definitely lights up more when he's able to like shoot a gun and all that kind of stuff. But it is a man. When you want to say one note, it is a one note character. Like there is nothing there.
And I'll be honest, I don't know what they're really trying to say when he just wants to watch his cartoon and the sex worker is trying to tell him like all her day's troubles and he's like not interested in listening. And like, he paid for the sex. Why would he want to listen to her complain? I don't know.
Sure.
This isn't someone he's known for a long time.
Yeah.
This transaction is over.
Sweater wife beater. And then later on my note is same sweater. And then later on it's shirtless vest.
Tank top.
Oh, but can we talk about Billy Bear?
How about the earring? Where did he get the earring from? Was that something like Billy Bear was holding on for him until he got out of prison?
He's doing all of the work.
Everything! Yes, thank you. Billy Bear, one of the most competent henchmen ever. He should have been the villain. He's so much better.
I'm also biased because of Predator. That I'm immediately like wanting to spout Predator lines instead. But he is more intimidating. He is way bigger and scarier, intimidating. I'm way more convinced of his evilness with his line deliveries. And don't get me wrong, I do like gosh, now I sound terrible that I can't remember his name, but I'm awful with names with everybody.
James
Yeah,
Remar?
thank you. Dexter's dad there. I do like him.
Gans? Yeah.
But yeah, Billy is just he's just more interesting. I don't know.
He seems like the more competent criminal of the two of them.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's got all the brains. Like he's the one that's breaking them out. Yeah, and I guess his one bad mistake was he went back to his girl.
Yeah, to pay her back? He owed her money.
Man, he owed her money and he went back. Although maybe it was he owed her money or maybe it was he really had nowhere else to go. I don't know. But
I don't know.
It was also kind of a horribly anticlimactic way he goes down. And that was upsetting. He just kind of I mean, one end, it's like awesome that he just stands up and he's like, just shoot me. And he just basically is just going, like, just doesn't care that he's getting shot up. Like, he just goes for it. Like, it's such a fearless awesomeness.
It's like he's daring him to try. He's like, I don't think you got it in you. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, man, I really wanted you to go out better than that.
Can we talk about Luther real quick for a quick second, by the way? That actor... who I know and love for many things, including Twin Peaks, was also in Walter Hill's previous movie, The Warriors, playing Luther.
Wow.
Yep. I just thought it was funny.
Wow. You really blew my mind there, because I didn't even, like... I'm watching the movie. I'm like,
Come out to play.
I know. I've seen him in tons of stuff.
Okay.
And as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my god, he's the dude that with the. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That kind of
playing Luther
blows my mind
again,
there.
Wow. Quick question. Yeah. That motel room they're in the beginning of the movie, that's huge for a motel room. But I'm curious, where did they keep the hostage when the sex workers were there? Did they make her watch? It was huge. It had 2 rooms.
Was it a conjoining room type of situation, maybe?
Yeah, but where did they put the hostage, Luther's girl?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even think
they
about
stick her in the bathroom or something?
Maybe. I didn't even think about that.
How do they explain that to the sex workers? Like, never mind the girl tied up. She likes to watch or whatever. This is our king.
Yeah, I don't
All
know.
Right.
Man, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was more distracted by, like, this is, like, terrible police work right now. Like, the 2 guys going up there with, like, known escaped convict type of things. It's just like...
They were just there because of the stolen credit card that they used.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was? Okay. See, what was I doing in the beginning of the movie? Because I'm like, what is going on here? Why is everybody here? Like, I'm not really catching this, so... Maybe that's my
and that's why they told Jack, you don't have to be here. This isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
We're just checking on this.
And that's just a weird thing to go back to our hero here a little bit too, right? Like to start the movie, it almost seemed like they were implying, I think they were that they were friends, right?
Yeah. He liked Jonathan Banks'
right.
character.
They knew each other. They knew their ex-relationship stuff. And so you're thinking, like, when this stuff is going down and he dies, you're thinking revenge, right? But no, he's just really mad about his gun being used. And I thought,
he did not care for that.
And I was like, this is so weird that, like, it's like at one end they're like, this is my buddy, this is my friend, he just died. That should be the thing that the script in this movie gravitates towards. But he's like, no, how dare you use my gun? It's like, this is really weird.
Not only that, but when he gets back to the police station, he's talking about it to everyone else. He's like, they were bad cops. They were good cops, but they screwed up. They're at fault for not taking chances.
He's crapping all over them. And it's like, this. I thought this guy was his friend, but man, he just really cares about his gun, man.
Yep. One of a kind, Jack Cates.
I guess that's America for you.
No wonder nobody likes him.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk about Gans when he's rocking the off-the-shoulder jacket to hide the gun in the train station.
Okay.
He's just got, like, really just on this one shoulder, he's got the gun. And it's both awkward and clever.
Yeah.
Because the actor doesn't have to hold the gun in every scene, but the audience knows it's there because of the jacket.
Right.
But it still looks silly as hell.
It does.
I'm just like, what are you doing? And then, of course, more of knitted tank top.
it looked like the cleanest subway system I've like especially in the 80s. Maybe it's a San Francisco thing. I don't know, but I'm like this just seems so. Are they just in the nicest part of town of San Fran or something? Like it's just it's fresh.
For everything I saw, they're literally driving around like a 5-block radius the entire movie.
That's what I was
just
thinking.
Hitting these same spots.
I was thinking that had to have been it because I'm like, this does not show. I feel like this is not accurate. I don't know, but I could be swayed because so much of like 80s, I think of New York, and I think the grossest subway type stuff ever. So I don't know.
So in conclusion, I'm willing to give the villains of this piece a 2.5.
Wow, I think that's high.
Yeah.
I went 1.
Wow.
I think
this is disrespectful to Billy Bear.
No, I think we split the difference and go 2 on that.
I feel like you're disrespecting Billy Bear. His contribution.
But I don't think there's enough there.
Yeah.
It's just not enough.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't have much dialogue. And the whole time you want more from him, but you're not getting him. And the entire time you're like, so one of my notes tier 2 under the villain category is I have an Office Space line, where I'm like, what would you say you do here? Like, I just...
Oh, for Gans?
Yeah. Like,
Gans shoots people. That's what he does.
Yes, but like, I don't...
He shoots a lot of cops in this movie, including the subway station.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't...
He's a good shot.
I don't see much of a... He wants his money back, I guess, kind of, but he seems more interested in shooting people than getting the money back. We don't get much of any kind of real interaction between Eddie Murphy's character and him. Like, it's just kind of like there is some backstory, but you would only know that from Eddie Murphy lines. You wouldn't know that from any kind of like sequence.
No, you're right.
And it's just, it leaves me flat most of the time. And I feel like the only thing that gives me a 1 is I like both of these actors and I enjoy them. But it sucks, to be honest, from the villain category. and the only reason why I'm giving it a 1 is because of who the actors are, not because of anything of the movie's substance.
I don't know. They shot a lot of cops, and they were free men for like 48 hours. That would not happen most of the time. Most of the time, those guys, the cops go nuts if they shoot another, more than one cop. Like, we're getting these guys. The National Guard's being called.
Exactly. There would have been a lot more officers involved. There would have been more. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah. But, I don't know. How do we do this?
I can live with the 2.
A 2?
It's fine.
Okay.
Because
I
gave it an extra half point because I enjoyed Billy Bear so much.
Yeah, you gave it. I'm going up a full point. You're only going down a half point here. So.
Well, let's not go to like 3/4 nonsense.
No. All right, so 2. We're gonna go 2 there. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
And now we talk about the action and the stunts in this movie.
Shortest segment yet. There's not a lot.
We got the opening.
Yep.
I gotta say, 3 guards with shotguns for a busload of uncuffed convicts. Feels like the escape is on the guards.
A little bit.
Yeah, that is poor planning.
A little bit. But I do like the little tussle and then
the fake fight.
Yeah. And then pulling
more
out.
racism.
Right. I'm always like, maybe it's me programmed by action movies that I'm like, they're rolling around in water. Shouldn't those guns not work now because of the water that they're rolling around in?
Revolvers are better for that kind of stuff.
I know little about guns, and I only know by action movies. So to me, I'm like, what? Because I don't know. Like every action movie, they always have to hold their guns over everything, right? Like they always got to be over the water. So
usually those are like more complicated assault rifle. I guess
you're saying,
handguns got a better shot.
Fair enough.
As long as the bullets don't get wet, that can be a problem.
Okay. So I get, and it was such a quick tussle that like it's not like they're going to be like waterlogged and soaked. So I get that part. So. So you get that little tussle, which I did like. I did enjoy that little turn.
Sure, but it's brief, like you said.
Yeah, it's very short. And then you get the hotel.
The hotel shootout.
Which is not a lot, to be honest.
Gans and Billy Bear, by the way, have infinite bullets and never have to reload throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, but that's staple. That's action movie staple.
Except the cops do. It's a tough break for the cops.
Yeah.
That's a very... That's it.
I will never complain about infinite bullets because that just seems to be what action movies are. I don't know.
It bothers me when it's like a simple like 6-shooter.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can count them. I know exactly how many bullets are in that wheel, sir.
I get that.
It's not going to work.
Sure.
If it's like an automatic handgun, like a 45 or something like that, I'm like, I can pretend I might have missed a bullet here or there. Like that's
sure.
fine.
I guess. I don't know.
That's a bigger clip.
I think you're asking a lot. It's such a staple of the genre, especially this era. And that's why like Hot Shots Part Duh and stuff like that is so good because it just plays on those type of things. So I'm not going to get upset about that. But to me, I was just like, I don't think there's a whole lot there. The best action sequence in the whole movie, without a doubt, is the bus car sequence.
Yep.
Like by far.
Same thing.
Yeah.
The Cadillac versus bus.
Yes.
Which very uneven fight. I feel like Nolte and Jack and Reggie were not thinking this one through.
No.
You can't pull up on the side of a bus.
Yeah, you're going to lose.
In your Cadillac.
You're going to lose.
Yeah, this is not a fight you can win.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. They got the camera rig on the back of the Cadillac.
Yeah.
And so you can see the going in there. I'm like, this is cool.
It's a nice sequence. And I like the gunfights back and forth. It was the most entertaining part by far. Like, I was like, I was really, really like, man, did we get this wrong by claiming this movie an action movie? And then, like, thank goodness for this sequence, because I was about to be like, oh no, we made a mistake. But that was a really nice scene. It helped the movie out a ton. Yeah,
and I'd also like to point out the Nolte, the Jack versus Reggie fight, fist fight.
Yeah,
it's like something. It's like the prequel to They Live. Where Roddy Piper is fighting David Keith.
Are you talking about like in the alleyway and such?
Yeah.
I was almost thinking this is like proto really early Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I mean, well, the whole movie is like we're going to riff on this idea for like the next 20, 30 years.
For sure.
We're going to have two cops that don't really like each other, and that's going to be the fun tension throughout the entire movie.
For sure.
Man, I'd also like to point out in the driving chasing scenes, Jack's Cadillac, this piece of crap, turns like the '89 Batmobile.
And he's like a grappling hook.
The widest turns I've ever seen in a car in a chase scene. Like, it literally almost hits the curb every time.
Yeah, in San Fran too. That's got to be rough.
Finally, the last bit of action is the final shootout in Chinatown.
Right.
The steam coming and everything like that. Really pretty to look at.
It is. You see the silhouette there, too, of him, which was nice. I like that. But there's not a whole lot of action to it. It's some nice visuals, as you're saying, yeah.
And an added bonus, because of all the steam, we get Nolte's hair wet, and at some point he has to comb it before he does the final shot. Because his hair's all like slicked back and looking good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I'm curious. I've kind of been going second. Should I go first this time?
Sure, go ahead.
I feel like after all this, I mean, I gave the villain 1, but I did give action 2, and
I gave action 2 as well.
Yeah, and it's mostly for that Cadillac bus fight that did it. Yeah.
That's exactly why it was. Otherwise, it was getting a 1.
Yeah, it was going to get a 1 without a doubt, because I was like, otherwise it'd feel weird to give it a 0. Like
no, I'm a sucker for a practical car fight like that.
Yeah,
and that bus definitely got hit by that car, and that car.
It was nice.
Into the store.
All right. So there we go. There it is.
Yeah.
Sidekick.
Mentor / sidekick. It's a sidekick for this one.
It's a 5. It's a 5.
Oh yeah, it's a 5.
We can go right away.
Just spoil it.
Let's just go right away. It's a 5.
Yeah.
Hands down. This is what makes the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, without a doubt, it's Eddie Murphy in this movie. My first note, as soon as he pops up, is "lol, so good." Like, that's my first note.
Mine was Roxanne.
Yeah. Roxanne. Yeah, totally.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
This is actually where I had written down the notes, by the way, for Ned O'Toole and Jonathan Banks. But yeah, everything else is about Eddie Murphy and all the amazing lines he stuck.
I have so much great Eddie Murphy. I mean, I was impressed even in this movie, revisiting it, that there are plenty of instances he has to go from I'm slinging the jokes that's making everybody laugh, but I'm gonna go right to a serious acting moment, and he can do it on a dime. And it's so freaking impressive.
For his first movie, too.
That's what's insane. Like, this is his first, and it's going to set everything up. And right away, he's throwing heat. He's throwing, like, he's going to the majors, and he's immediately throwing over 100. And it's like, whoa, oh my gosh. He to go from comedy to action on a whim is insane to me. Like, it was so impressive.
I like to talk about the look on Eddie Murphy's face when he walks into Torchy's. Because Reggie is... I'm going to keep on going back calling him Eddie and Reggie.
Fair enough.
Reggie Hammond is like, he's a con artist, whatever, trying to tell me, I'll get the information you need. I can do this job better than you can. And they walk into Torchy's all confident, like, I'm going to pretend to be the cop here, and...
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Confederate flags, as far as I can see, it's a country bar. Whoops.
Yeah, in San Francisco.
Surprising Billy Bear could get a job there, but
yeah.
I wonder if it is under new management.
Well, that's what made me start to look up the actor, and I was like, oh, he might not be as Native American as I thought. Very passable, I guess. But anyway.
But yeah, the whole scene is that's Eddie Murphy's best scene in the whole movie, I think.
Yeah. Where
he gets to play cop.
Yeah.
It's genuinely very fun. But it's that great combination of being both hilarious, I think it's the first time Bad Boys rips off of whatever, it's like an N-word with a badge.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Like that, everything like that, and he's constantly riffing off between being hilarious and actually, forceful, or feeling like you could be a real cop.
Yeah, you can see him being very intimidating in that situation. Yeah.
And every cut to Nick Nolte's face just being absolutely having a ball with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Watching him.
Very silent during the whole thing. Let's see how far this will go type of deal. And it was great.
And then he helps him out, and the guy goes, "Got your back, officer."
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and even in that moment too, there's way more racist drops happening. You have the N-word being dropped. You have the F-word being dropped. There's just and I even have the note about the N-word with the badge here. So and it happens really quick in that moment too, like a lot of it in one sitting. So it's like, it's a little overwhelming revisiting that. It's like, wow, there's a lot of this in one sitting.
Yeah, but it's a great scene.
Yeah.
I would like to go over all my favorite Eddie Murphy lines from this movie, if I may.
Oh, for sure. I literally just said, too, my next note after this, by the way, before you get into this, is...
No, go ahead.
Best sidekick ever? ?
As far as... aided to a movie?
Yeah.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
It has to be.
He's in the...
It has to be.
Possibly Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I don't know how useful... I mean, as far as sidekick,
yeah, almost all his things don't pan out. Because I think it actually ends up being Nick Nolte's idea to go back to the women's apartment, right?
Yeah, he's like, well, what else are we gonna do?
Yeah, so almost all of his ideas strike out, I guess.
I mean, he knows where Luther is, and he leads him to Luther and everything. And I don't know why they didn't just sit on Luther like he said, but I guess Nolte was impatient. He's like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But here are all my favorite Eddie Murphy.
Okay, go for
it. Guy took a shot at a cop yesterday, and now he's on the street today. Judicial system ain't shit. He sees Luther walking, and he's like, what the hell? And then Nolte with the, I didn't know you darker people went in for foreign jobs, which was like a woof.
Yeah.
But then he comes right back, and I'm like, well, I had no choice. Some white asshole took the last piece of shit Blue Cadillac.
Yes, that was a great line. I forgot about that one, yeah.
And then when he's in the bar waiting for Jack to show up and get him, and he starts hitting on that girl, and there's a guy, much larger man, coming at him.
He looks like a college quarterback or player. He looks huge.
He's like at least a foot taller than Eddie, but he's like, lack of pussy makes a man brave. He tells him straight to his face. I ain't care. I don't care.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then at the end of the movie, he finally gets laid with that girl. No idea how he ever did. She give him his number? I don't know how. I
don't know. Actually, that's one of my notes. Is like the way this man is talking to this woman and the ways he's asking for sex is insane. Like,
he's just like, I don't have the time to be actually charming or anything like that. We just got to get to it.
But somehow it's working. And it's like, the whole time when he's doing that to her, I'm like, really? This is working?
Movie logic.
Yeah, but I guess, too, it's like, it works because Eddie Murphy. Again.
Sure.
Like, that's the other reason why it works.
But then when he finally gets laid at the end of the movie and Nolte picks him up, he tells him it was great. I should have my dick bronzed.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Another interesting line that I thought, you'll hear later on that it almost seems to start here is there's like a line. I don't have the exact quote, but there's like a line like about them like kind of both being kind of cops in this situation. And he kind of has this very similar, but I make this look good. Like I look good, and when you look like crap, I look good type of deal. I'm like, man, Will Smith, that you should say thank you because Eddie Murphy did this first.
Yeah, he's talking about I got the $500 suit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I have to say about Eddie. But yeah, it's a 5. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5, without a doubt. Eddie Murphy's the best part of this movie. I'm trying to look at my other...
miscellaneous notes?
Yeah, I have general notes.
I have them ready to go if you want.
Let's see. Fun music to start off. Very cop movie.
That's my first note. James Horner's score is fantastic in this movie.
It is so cop movie. Yeah.
Oh, well, I think he reuses this score or riffs on it like a bunch of times throughout his career.
It wouldn't surprise me.
This is where it starts. It's really good.
Yeah, right away I'm like, I know what movie I'm in, so it's success. Mm-hmm. And then I have a note here. James Horner has done some stuff.
Yeah, it's one of the all-time greatest composers.
Yeah.
Did you see who one of the writers was for this movie?
No.
Roger Spottiswoode, director of Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh my God, Spottiswoode! As soon as you said it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's your boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had the Frank McRae note, which I had to, I did earlier. And finally, this movie was made for $12 million in '82, right? If inflation, that it was made for $37 million in today's money.
Right. Huh.
Want to know how much it made?
How much?
$78.9 million. And with inflation in today's money, that's over $243 million.
They had to make a sequel.
It took them a while.
I know. There's a gap there.
Instead, Eddie Murphy decided I don't actually need Nick Nolte. I can just keep on
basically
making huge hits.
Which I get.
Until you're ready to pay me.
I get it, to be honest. Because, again, that's what I come away at the end of this movie is this movie really wouldn't be much without him.
No.
And that's why he has to have everything there.
I want to shout out Walter Hill. I don't know how familiar you are with him. His first movie was Hard Times with Charles Bronson, some kind of like bare knuckle boxing movie. And then from that, he made The Driver. Really cool. Remember Drive with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically The Driver was the origin of all that, basically, except it started with Ryan O'Neal, and he never talks throughout the whole movie. He's just the driver. And it's just amazing car stunts throughout the whole thing. It's worth checking out if you ever get a chance to see it.
Okay.
From there, he makes The Warriors.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And movie I've never heard of, The Long Riders, and then Southern Comfort, which is really cool if you ever get a chance to see that one. It's about a couple of National Guard guys go down into the Deep South, screw with some hillbillies, and then the whole hillbilly community comes after the National Guard.
Oh, beer. Oh, boy.
And then from that, he makes 48 Hours, and whew, that is definitely the biggest hit of his career.
Okay.
But he's littered throughout the 80s and big stuff. But that's what led to this.
What's interesting, too, is that it's right there baked in the title. You know, I feel like so many times, at least a lot of times in action movies, we're like, wait, what's the span of time that takes place in this movie? Did this, like, how many, like, is this a really, like, it never really clicks, never makes sense, but in this movie, it's already built in the title, you already know, it's already got a finite time, and it's like, man, like, action movies, like, these guys kind of nailed it here, right in the beginning, like, you know.
There's no fat on this movie.
Yeah, not at all.
It is lean, and it is quick, and you feel great after watching it.
Yeah. Other than being like, again, man,
it's light on action.
Yeah.
It's a better movie than it is an action movie.
Yeah.
It's a much better movie than it is an action movie. Like if I was rating the movie on on a 4-star system, that's how I grew up. Sorry,
right.
Zach, I would give it 3 stars.
I guess the thing that I was almost like talking myself into was like what, like if I was to give it like a general category almost, like if there was like a bonus category, like I would give it extra points just because of Eddie Murphy and the relationship between him and Nick Nolte and everything there is so good that it should bump it up. But to be honest, due to our category system, it's not going to score that well.
12 out of 20.
Yeah. That's not particularly great, right?
No, that's a pretty middling score, but we're judging it based off of the action genre. So,
right.
And that's considering the action involved in this movie. That's
passing. I mean, it's 60. That's a 60%. That's not amazing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of where I was kind of shocked because it's like 48 Hours would typically to most be a pretty big staple of action movies in the 80s. Is like one of the reasons why we started off with it. But then you're kind of watching it and you're like, actually, there's
action-wise,
yeah, it kind of falls flat, and really the Eddie Murphy saves this movie.
From what I remember about the sequel too, I think they go the opposite way and they make it more actiony and less funny, and it suffers.
Yeah.
It's
not what you want.
No, not from this. It's perfect as it is. But as an action movie, you gotta knock it down.
I guess that's
just judging it from that genre.
I guess that's kind of weird. Like I think my enjoyment is probably higher than the actual score is gonna be here.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Science.
Yeah, that's our score. It's a 12 out of 20.
Mm-hmm.
Man, all right. So now we need to decide in our next segment here what we're doing next.
Yeah.
And and it sounds like, according to our discussions prior, it is split between a Chuck Norris movie, and we got a couple to pick from.
You can pick whatever movie you want on here. I just recommended that since there are 2 Chuck Norris movies in this year, and 4 Sword and Sandal movies in this year, you might want to space these out a bit.
Man, yeah. So, and to me, it would be flip a coin between a Chuck Norris movie. I really don't care which one, or a sword that shoots swords. Which seems kind of insane too.
Welcome to the 80s.
Yeah, because you texted me a GIF, whatever you people like to say.
You people.
And as soon as I saw what you texted me, I was like, Mother of God, I can't imagine this. So I don't know what to go with here. Where are you thinking?
No. I chose 48 hours in the last one. I leave this one entirely in your hands. You can ignore me and pick something else. It's my blessing. All I ask is that make sure it's one that we haven't seen before.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
variety's sake. I have the document there. You can look through the whole thing.
No, it's fine. No, I know how to look at it. Which one, and you probably have it up. I don't have it up right now, but which one's got the best streaming access?
Let's see. Well, Sword and the Sorcerer is available on Shout Factory TV, so we probably need to get like a
what?
A trial subscription on Amazon or something.
Shout Factory TV. I've never heard of that one.
It's probably there's a million streaming services you've never heard of.
Oh, dear Lord! Apparently, Christ.
Silent Rage is the other one.
Oh, that's a title. That's an action title. There, Silent Rage.
So Silent Rage is on Crackle.
Okay, that one I've heard of. I think that's more ads, but yeah.
Yeah. And Sorceress is on Freebie.
Okay, that one I don't know. Sorceress?
It's one of the sword and fighting ones. But if you only want to stick with the sword shooting one, that is on Shout Factory TV.
I think it would be the sword shooting one or a Chuck Norris movie.
Okay, so that one, Shout Factory TV for the Sword and Sorcerer. Okay. Forced Vengeance, you have to rent on Prime. And Silent Rage is on Crackle.
Man, that's not helpful. All right, let us all discover the sword shooting movie. Let's do it.
The Sword and the Sorcerer.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it too, I was like, man, is this movie inspired by anime, or is it the other way around? Like I'm thinking like Final Fantasy VIII with like the handgun holster swords and everything when I'm looking at this kind of stuff. But, oh boy. I think it's going to be hot garbage, but I'm interested to discover this hot garbage.
Tim, you've watched Kroll multiple times. You'll survive.
I love Kroll, although I have a weird, childhood attachment to Kroll, of course. I mean, what do you call that frisbee spiked thing? It's
the glaive.
Is that what it was?
I think it's the glaive.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I mean, we grew up on it, so it's kind of hard to say how stupid anything is.
We grew up on this nonsense.
Right, exactly.
So
like, I watched Beastmaster multiple times. So let's do it. I mean, I was a little shocked we are doing it because again, it seems a bit fantasy sounding, but we have to make some concessions here, I guess. So,
if Conan the Barbarian gets to be in on this, I thought we had to include it. Plus, a sword that shoots swords is the most 80s thing I've ever heard of. So
it sounds actiony. I mean, that's a weapon. I mean,
sword gun.
I thought there would be more bullets flying in this year, but apparently it's also going to include some swords flying. So who would have thought?
Yeah.
All right.
80s.
80s. All right. You ready to wrap up?
Ready to wrap up.
All right, that is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing us at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bro Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Bye. Sword gun!